Second event of the day underway with heat number 1 of 4, but it is a huge heat when it comes to point implications as we close out the opening day for the men here in Germany. We mentioned Christiansen in 4th. 2 other athletes here in the top 5. That includes in 3rd place, Lucas Hogberg, who is making his way to the bench already with 10 quick deadlifts at 295 pounds. Now he's on to the 195 pound or 89 kilo bench press for his set of 10.
And Lucas Hogberg was so close last year to making it to the games. I think it was a 2-point differential between him and Fredrik Egidius. I think Lucas is coming back more fired up than I've ever seen him before. He really wants to make sure that he gets to go to the games again. He feels like he could have done great there.
Now he leads the way, but he's going to lose that lead quickly, at least here in round number 1, as he's going for that single strategy. Zach George off camera in lane number 3 was behind him, but he's going with the touch and go, which might not pay off for him in the end, but he is out in front here at this point. So Hogberg is in that lead battle, but leading the way in terms of the point standings in this heat is in 2nd place in the overall standings, Roman Krennikov, who nearly had the event win in event number 1.
Roman did really, really well. Now he wasn't used to the event. He wasn't sure that he was actually going to do it, or that he was actually going to do that well. So it's going to be interesting to see him in an event where he feels more comfortable. He said before that this was an event he felt good about.
We saw Krennikov in the white shirt makes his way back to the deadlift bar for the set of 9. He is in the 2nd position, as in lane number 3, no shirt and black shorts that you saw a moment ago, Zach George leading the way, but he has that aggressive strategy that might be that run through the wall and see if he can hang on tight.
Well, Zach didn't exactly get the start to the with the first event that I think he was looking for, and I think he wants to redeem himself, and he feels really comfortable with this event as well. You can tell by the way he's moving forward. Now, it is going to be interesting to see whether he's going to be able to hold on to this, or if this hard pace early on is going to punish him later.
Zach George entering this in 34th place, and this might be starting to get to that point where you have to do that damage control from the first event. It might change your keys, but in general, what are we looking at here in event number 2?
Well, so as always, there are a couple of things that I think could make or break you. One is it is not a sprint. Even there's a 17-minute time cap. I don't think a lot of these guys are going to need 17 minutes, but you need to partition your effort. You need to know when to make a move. Technical excellence is another one of these things. A tight bar path and being able to position yourself under the bar in the right way is going to set you up for expending less energy on every single solitary rep, and that's going to serve you well as you get further into the event. The last thing is avoid the no reps. Even though it's not a sprint and is a slightly longer event, there's just no time for no reps. You want to make sure that all the energy you expend is going to propel you towards a fast finish, not towards an extra rep.
So Zach George, you see him walking towards the deadlift bar, continuing to lead the way, even though in round 1 he went touch and go, in round 2 he went for the singles. Marcus Schmidt moving into the picture as he continues to go touch and go. But Roman Krennikov in 3rd, and there's Lucas Hogberg in 4th here in the heat, as we're still in the very early stages. But this will progress quickly throughout these final rounds. As you think about it, there's 55 reps of each movement. We're already through 19 of those 55.
This is true, but considering the way that this event is set up, you can actually get all the way halfway through the reps and still not feel like you've done half the work. It's a brilliantly programmed piece of work that's it's wreaked havoc on people before.
I'm not sure if that was just kind of clipping the clip, for lack of better words there, I suppose, or if that was a little bit of sign of fatigue there. That left arm for George kind of looked a little bit slow on a couple of those reps.
And that's the beauty of what these athletes are doing right now, is that it is going to challenge your every ability. You need to maintain focus. You need to position yourself smartly under the bar for the cleans, but you also need to be able to position your work so that your rest-work ratio will still allow you to access all your athletic prowess, so to speak. If you go too fast, one arm may not serve you well. You may find yourself getting underneath the bar a little bit too slowly, not getting the repetition or having to fight for it. and you just don't need that at this point.
Top two here in the heat, Marcus Schmidt on the left, Zach George on the right, and I don't know if it's by choice or by necessity, but they have both foregone the touch and go strategy on the cleans with that 145-pound, 66-kilo bar. Lucas Hogberg moving into continuing to hold to the fourth position as Krennikov is holding third. Hogberg not far behind. The two leaders continuing to hold a pretty decent lead here. They close out the set of 7 on the deadlifts at 295 pounds, about 134 in kilos.
So Zach is back to the bench press now. We did see that left arm give in just a little bit on the previous set. Let's see if that was just a coincidence or if it's sorted itself out.
Now, a couple of notes that I think that might have just been a little bit of an odd rep there, the one that we saw where it slowed down. But a couple of notes here. One, we just saw the bench press. You have to keep your hands inside the second grip ring, as they put it in the athlete briefing yesterday. So there is a standard in terms of that, as well as keeping your butt and your feet, or your butt on the bench, your feet on the ground. The other thing is, some people are wondering, where did these weights come from? Linda typically is based on your body weight percentage. Well, we kind of are doing that. We're going with the average of the athletes that have been here at the regional level.
Exactly, and I think that's a smart and an even way to do it. What that means is that we have a 295-pound or 134-kilo deadlift. We've got a 195-pound or 89-kilo bench press and 145 or 66-kilo clean. I think it was a smart way of making sure that everybody was doing the same work.
Oh, this just tightened up in a hurry. It is still Marcus Schmidt out front, but 1 second ahead of the man in white, Roman Krennikov, who's looking to cap off an incredible opening day of competition. Zach George in third, Lucas Hogberg a couple of reps away from joining them in the round of 6.
And you see the pace is starting to slow down significantly on these reps. But Roman Krennikov is doing a great job. He's got to love how this weekend is unfolding for him.
Still looking rather smooth on the bench press. He might need to start watching his hips, as you can see them start to come up just a little bit.
And I think that Adrian Bosman was talking about, if I was shining a flashlight from the side, if I can see light on the other side of your body, you have come off the bench.
And a no rep here, and that one, from what I'm gathering from the gestures from the judge, they were told you have to lock it out and then bring the bar back into the rack. I believe he was bringing it back into the rack as he was locking it out, based on the gestures from that judge. So I believe that's the no rep there for Zach George, but it might prove costly. He didn't lose any positions. He was third at that time. He's still third, but he has lost a lot of ground to Lucas Hogberg.
And it's going to be interesting to see now whether Lucas is going to opt for the touch and go, or if he's going to go 1 rep at a time. It looks like he's still going 1 rep, but he has increased his speed just a little bit.
Krennikov and Schmidt simultaneously roll their bar to the 5 spot on the floor, indicating they're on the round of 5 now, as that is the advancement of the bar. You move it into the round you're going to next. We keep an eye on the 3rd place race. Currently, well, now that's a tie as well at this point, as Hogberg just ahead because of the transition speed, ahead of Zach George. So put Hogberg in 3rd. It's Schmidt and Krennikov side by side with each other working on the bench. And those 4 have separated themselves from the rest of the field by a good margin.
They have. And they're still looking very, very solid. I mean, Marcus Schmidt, I was afraid that he was going to blow out too fast, that he was going to blow up in the end. But I mean, he still looks really, really calm and composed. Look at that snappy hip and making sure that he's not overexerting himself in any way, shape, or form. Stands all the way up, has a good conversation with his judge. I like this.
Now on the far right side, you'll see that plate that's bouncing every now and then. It's being blocked by the judge. There it is again. That is the lane for Roman Krennikov. So they are next to each other, going once again for the touch and go here to close out the set of 5. And still simultaneously they advance the bar, turn around, and it's near. We saw synchronization chest to bar pull-ups in the team competition earlier. We're seeing synchronized squat cleans, roll the bar, and walk to the deadlift bar for your 2 leaders here in this heat.
I don't think they, let's put it this way, I don't think that Roman Kremnikov or Marcus Schmidt had a conversation about this in the locker room in the warm-up area before. Let's just follow pace. It just happens that way. The interesting part is that even though there aren't that many reps left on the floor for him, this could still change.
And we're starting to see a little bit more waving of the bar here on the way up. Krennikov still going those 4 unbroken, as did Schmidt. Schmidt has been faster on the deadlift and bench press. Krennikov faster on the squat clean to close out each round. It's interesting to see how that plays out as we're entering the final 3 rounds after these 4 cleans. So first to the bar, a 1-rep advantage for Schmidt, who's now going singles. Krennikov going touch and go for at least the first 2. Touch and go for the last 2 for Schmidt, and he will actually have about a half-second lead over Krennikov this time. Schmidt on the left, Krennikov on the right. We're in the final 3 rounds. So just 18 reps total remain, 6 of each movement. First to the deadlift bar will be Schmidt. Högberg has now moved his way pretty comfortably into 3rd, but not in striking distance of the 2 leaders.
And this is where Schmidt has been making a mark in the last couple of rounds. He's been really, really good and really snappy on his bench presses, where Kremnikov has been fighting it out just a little bit more.
And we're almost level again, though. As Schmidt now having a jog, Krennikov follows suit. Krennikov getting a little push from the Russian contingent here as they're behind us, chanting his name, trying to get him to go that last little bit and possibly chase down Schmidt, they're both going to go touch and go, and they're both going to advance the bar simultaneously once again. We have 2 rounds remaining. Krennikov turns and runs towards the deadlift bar. Schmidt having to pick up that same pace, but it is a slight advantage for Krennikov over Schmidt as they start the round of 2. Quicker transitions might be the deciding factor here in our final couple of rounds. Set of 2 complete. It might also come down to a mistake. If you rack that bar a little too quickly, if you try to stand up and drop that bar a little too quick on the cleans, it's got to be clean, but it's got to be fast. Krennikov out in front by 2 reps now, and he's picking up the pace, running about the same speed he did with his quick Event1 finish. And this might be out of reach at this point for Schmidt, as Krennikov already through the 1 deadlift, makes his way to the bench. There's the 1 press, and 1 rep remains for Roman Krennikov. We spoke about a group of athletes that might make that push to join the notable games athletes for those 5 qualifying spots, but after day 1, you might see Roman Krennikov leading the leaderboard if this continues.
What a way to execute the event for Roman. He's got to love the way that panned out. Schmidt looking pretty happy with second place as well, and I think he should be. He did very, very well.
And Schmidt is in at 13:08. Wow, for being simultaneous for much of the 6 through 2 rounds there, it's an 18-second differential for Krennikov over Schmidt.
Well, Krennikov's start was a little bit slower, and I think he left a little bit in the tank to be able to increase his speed in the end, which was just really, really smart. And here we see Lucas Högberg running up for his last clean as well.
And Lucas will be our next finisher in at 13:42. Might be worth noting for those yet to go, either here at this regional or those at the other regionals. Of course, this is the lead regional in terms of the order this season. 2 of the top 3 went singles right out of the gate.
Yeah, and I think it's smart. I think it's really smart. Just drop it, make sure that both for your grip, but even more for your lower back, having to control that weight on the way down. That's hard work. So if you can go fast once, that may serve you better. We still have a couple of heats to go, though, where we may be proven wrong.
James St. Leger, he's working on the round of 4 now, but he had the costly mistake of making his way almost all the way back down the floor, but he forgot to advance the bar. The judge had to actually chase him down a little bit to let him know, hey, you got to bring that bar forward. And he had to walk all the way back and then walk all the way back again, and that's a costly mistake there. Round of 2 about it in the books for Zach George, the early leader. We spoke about the mix of, well, you go touch and go early or you go singles early. This was the man that went touch and go right out of the gate in that round of 10, and that might have bit him in the end.
I think it did. If you haven't done this event, if you haven't done anything like it, you don't know what it's going to feel like. Even though you get to 5 reps and you feel like you're all golden, 1 rep later, that may be all gone.
Still about a minute and a half away from the 17-minute time cap. Our 4th finisher will be about 2 minutes behind 3rd place Lucas Hoberg. Zach George with 1 final rep, and it is a good one. He'll make his way over the bar into the finish mat at 15 minutes 44 seconds, and hit him with the backpack dance there, Zach.
Well, I think what happened was that the pace that Zach and Marcus set to start with, it may have been a bit too much for Zach to be able to maintain, but I also think it kind of lured everybody else out into a pace because it's a widespread field.
Last rep in lane number 8 for Alec Harwood. He'll be our 5th finisher in at 16:13. Meanwhile, lane number 1, Marcus Eriksson, this work in the round of 4. In this event, just looking at where the bars are on the floor as we're in the final 30 seconds, this is definitely an event of the haves and the have-nots, it seems, at least in heat number 1.
It definitely is, and I think we've still got a lot to see in the events to come of how these things pan out.
Now, a hit in the points, and it's early, yes, but it's never too early to really think about the point implications. That Arne Bjorn Christensen came into this event in 4th. He won't stay there very long as he's one of a handful of athletes left, and that, I'm not gonna guess what happens there for Piotr Milcharek. But he will be tended to, and we'll get you an update if we get one on his condition there.
I think it does look like he's cramped up, and I know that we've had several other athletes who felt the same kind of problem. And we've had Marcin Sabaj withdrew because of knee pain as well. I mean, these things happen.
Yep, it is a competitive event, and that was a tough first test that these athletes had. But there were a couple of athletes that it didn't look like that first test was really that hard based on their performance in event number 2, as the event leader is Roman Krennikov, 2nd in the point standing. So 2nd in event 1, he's the leader after heat 1 here in event 2.
And here's Roman. And he did a great job of just staying consistent, taking it easy in the transitions between the different movements, and then increasing his pace in between him in the end, coming off to a great finish. And this is where he made his move. Just a little bit faster in the transition. You see him now running as opposed to walking a little earlier, and that's where he got it.
And the possible points leader, if this holds, after day number 1, Roman Krennikov, he leads the way in event 2, and he's with Nikki Brazier.
So we've got Roman here and a translator to help us out a little bit. My question for you is, it was neck and neck for you coming through the end. How does having someone right next to you push you to get to the end?
Ты держался вместе со своим соседом, то есть ты за ним гнался. Тебе это помогало или тебе это мешало?
Мне это помешало. Я изначально думал, что Хоуберг даст хороший темп, но когда я увидел, что он делает взятие по одному, то есть синглами, я думаю, что я совершил ошибку и пошел в его темпе, хотя я мог быстрее. Испугался, опыта не хватило.
So he thinks that it was a mistake to keep on with the Holberg because he was thinking that he will go fast. And at some point, Roman understood that he's going too slow. He's doing singles, and probably he could have done better if he just moved in his own pace from the very beginning.
I got you. Well, you still did a fantastic job. Great day 1 for you here. Nice work.
And we have heat number 2.